Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail the story of a tragic shooting that happened on the Bay Area Freeway. Now, the Bay Area has been dangerous in various ways for decades, with many cities having deadly crime rates and reputations for violence and reputations for a lot bad. The Bay is a region with many different cities and many different people from all over, but less talked about cities like Richmond have a deadly history of crime and people from that city that cause hell in the Bay. Now, since 2015, over 100 shooting incidents have occurred on Bay Area freeways. I have talked about a few in a previous episode where I detailed innocent children being shot, but in this video, I'm going to detail another Bay Area shooting. Demarcus was a 24-year-old college student who was enrolled at a Bay Area college. His major was criminal justice. Him and his girlfriend, who was also 24, will be driving on the freeway in a Honda Odyssey minivan near San Pablo Avenue as they headed east at a creeping speed at 10 miles per hour in the thick of the Bay Area traffic. Around 3:30 p.m. on May 9th, 2017, a car would creep up on the side of their minivan containing 3 men, and they would open fire on Demarcus and his girlfriend. Demarcus would tell her to duck, and he jumped on top of his girlfriend, trying to shield her from the shooting. Demarcus will be shot 3 times, and his girlfriend will be shot in the finger, but she survived. A Good Samaritan driving a red Volvo stopped in the middle of the freeway to help the victims. He did not want to be identified as he drove away. There were plenty of witnesses to the crime, and many reached their cell phones to begin to call the police. CHP officers closed the eastbound lanes of the Interstate 80 in the Richmond area for about 5 hours as they investigated the shooting. The police would say to take away from this, we have some great witnesses who called 911 and provided us with descriptions of possible suspects and possible suspect vehicle. Shortly after the shooting, Sky 7 was overhead as the Richmond police stopped a silver Dodge Charger on 17th Street. The car matched the same description given by witnesses. 3 men were detained in the connection to the incident, and the car was later towed. And the 3 men were all arrested and charged for the shooting just 30 minutes later. A 24-year-old man named Elliot Johnson and 2 juveniles were the men determined to be involved in the shooting.
Hour chaos. The Bay Area evening commute comes to a halt. Sky 7 shows the scene. Countless drivers were going nowhere.
And this is the reason why. Gunfire broke out on a busy freeway tonight. The Highway Patrol says this was a targeted shooting. Good evening. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Amma Dates. Interstate 80 reopened around 9 o'clock tonight after a 5-hour closure.
Yeah, the shooting happened about 3:30 this afternoon on eastbound 880 near San Pablo Avenue in Richmond, 80, during the beginning of the evening commute. ABC 7 News reporter Cornell Bernard is live in Richmond tonight with our developing story. Cornell?
Yeah, Dan, traffic in fact is flowing on Interstate 80 again tonight. Tonight, 3 men are being questioned by Richmond police about the shooting, which targeted 2 motorists. Sky 7 shows the shattered window of this Honda minivan, fired upon from a passing car on eastbound Interstate 80 in Richmond at the start of the afternoon commute. It forced the closure of the freeway near San Pablo Avenue for hours. The man and woman inside the Honda were both shot. His multiple gunshot wounds so critical, an air ambulance had to land on the freeway to take him to a trauma center.
Right now, we don't believe there's any danger to the public.
The motive still unknown. To chaos. The freeway backed up for miles, and detours weren't working. CHP doesn't know if this shooting is connected to a string of 9 other freeway shootings.
Demarcus was taken via helicopter to a hospital where the doctors told the family that they could not operate because the bullet entered through the front of his skull. Doctors pronounced him brain dead the next morning and told the family they had 6 hours left with him to say their goodbyes before they shut off the life support machines. Demarcus' sister would say the police are going to call it a gang-related shooting because it's Richmond. They don't want to say there was an innocent person who was killed, which she would say he was.
Tournament at Contra Costa College, where he was a student, to raise money for his funeral. CHP investigators say 3 gang members drove up to Dawes' minivan last week and shot him 3 times on the freeway. Authorities think that he was an innocent victim, and his family thinks the shooting was a case of mistaken identity.
He loves sports and he loved competing, and when we did spend like our time together, it was playing basketball, and this is how we came up. So it's just a great way to celebrate Demarcus' life.
The CHP says since 2015, there have been 111 freeway shootings in the Bay Area, mostly on Interstate 80 and Highway 4.
The shooter, Elliot, had a long history in the streets and a long criminal record. He would plead no contest to the shooting, but even from behind bars, Elliot would still be causing problems. Him and his co-defendants would be raising hell in jail. In April 2019, Elliot was involved in a group beating of an inmate and found to have a knife. In June of 2019, Elliot joined the group fighting and beating a man, and then 3 weeks after that, he was involved in another fight, which led to a man having major head injuries. Then on September 23rd, 2020, Elliot and another man beat up a 32-year-old man who suffered a broken jaw from a gel attack and died from complications during surgery. These deaths, along with the original case he was fighting, with the death of Demarcus, got 2 murders put on Elliot, so he would take a plea deal for 36 years in 2023. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.